This isn't just a video. This is a message for those who felt invisible. For those of you who've been through hell and back and still find the strength to keep going. But it's also a message for those of you who feel like life is overbearing, where you don't feel like you have the strength to continue, where you don't see the purpose and the meaning behind your mere existence. And I want to share with you about my own experience and hope to inspire you that you see your own worth and that you see that life does have a purpose. And that purpose is you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Martin, and I really share with you here unapologetically without holding back. And I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to be very unfiltered. And in this video, my intention behind it is to show you that you are not alone on this journey. If you felt invisible, if you felt like your voice doesn't matter, I want you to hear me loud and clear. You do matter. Your voice fucking matters. No matter what other people say, no matter what other people think, you matter and you have freaking worth. And I'm not just saying that as like so many people are just throwing around those words. But the reason I'm saying that is because I've been struggling with that for years. For years, I've struggled with seeing any kind of bit of worth of who I am. I almost gave up on life. I gave up on myself, on other people. And not because I didn't care, but because I felt so deeply. And I felt like it didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. I've seen this in so many areas of my life. So many times where I put my heart in it, my soul in it, just to be crushed by life, be crushed by people who didn't see my worth. I was bullied. I was rejected. I was made fun of. I felt broken so many times in my life, I can't even count it. And I'm not sharing any of this for any kind of pity, but I'm sharing this with you because I'm right here, right now, in this moment, because of all the things that happened. I'm using my pain, I'm using my anger, my frustration. But I'm also using my love, my kindness, me caring for other people to create these videos. I'm vulnerable. I'm showing up here, not knowing what to expect, not to know what people are going to think of it. And that's one of the things that happen behind the scenes that nobody sees. A lot of people say, oh, you're so self-confident, like you're putting yourself out there, it's amazing. But internally, there's like a war going on within me. I'm afraid. Like I have this fear of not being seen. I question myself very often when I create those videos. I'm like, what am I doing it for? Because what if people not going to resonate with it? What if they reject it? What if they reject me? What if my voice is not heard? Like it wasn't heard for so many years. The reason why I'm still showing up is because even if one person gets something out of those messages and can experience some kind of shift in their life, find some kind of hope, then this is why I'm doing it. That is my purpose. That is my why. And for that why, I need to be vulnerable. I need to take the risk of rejection. I need to take that risk of not being seen or heard, of being bullied again. But now I'm focusing on those people that I could potentially reach, who might have a breakthrough, who might break free of the chains from the past and create a life that they truly want and deserve. Connecting to the why is so incredibly important in order for you to not give up. Because if you don't know why you're in it, if you don't know why you're doing something, if you don't know why you're on this planet, then it's very, very difficult to get through the difficult moments. It's difficult to go through hell if you don't know why you're doing it, if you don't know what's on the other side of it. I know the pain. I know the pain. Believe me. I've just recently been through it. I've shared it in different videos. And as you can see, I'm emotional, but I'm not hiding it. I'm just showing up here vulnerably, authentically, not holding back. Because this is who I am. And I'm done hiding. I'm done not showing up in life. So many people don't do that, especially when they're in the coaching industry. They're like, oh, you don't share yourself because you have to teach other people the professional boundary and all those kind of things. I told myself those kind of bullshit stories for a long time, where I'm like, I have to know better. If I want to help someone, if I want to guide them, then I have to already have walked that path. But that's bullshit. As a coach, I'm not there to tell you how to live your life because I've been through it and I made it and everything is great and like all is sunshine and rainbows. No. As a coach, my purpose is it to show that no matter what happens in life, that there is a way, that I'm struggling with my own shit, but that I don't give up, that I continue, that I use the tools that I've learned in order for me to move forward. And to sometimes throw out all the tools and just sit in the shit and sit in the pain, sit in the frustration, the anger, all those negative emotions. Like I said, recently I've been through that. Last year I met someone and it was beautiful. It was ups and downs, as there is always when you are dating someone. But on December 22nd, I had a conversation with my mom. And I asked her a few questions because I was like a little bit unsure about certain aspects. And I was like, does it matter? I was like, am I just too much in my head? Do I care too much in that sense? And through that conversation, I realized I'm worried way too much about future possibilities that might never happen. And in that moment, I made a decision to go for it, to love that person, to show up fully 100% in that relationship. The next day he ended it. And I've been devastated. I've been on a downward spiral for a few weeks after that. For a couple days I couldn't eat. I couldn't really, like when I was laughing, it was just like laughter coming through pain. And it was so heartbreaking for me because I cared so much about that person. Knowing the certain aspects of their past, I'm like, I'm not going to walk out of him. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fully show up and commit. And then I was the one who was left. And I'm not coming from any kind of blame or guilt, but when I experienced that, I lost every kind of hope for the future. I lost any kind of vision that I had. Because in that moment, the whole future that I built in my head was by his side. And that's what I shared in the beginning of this video, that I almost gave up on myself and on life because I cared so much, and I just felt I didn't matter. That it's so easy to leave me, to throw me out of someone's life. It took a big hit on my self-worth. And it took me a long time to build the level of self-worth that I had at that time. But looking back, it was also one of the greatest gifts that happened, because through that pain, I started to reconnect to myself on a level that I have not before. I dived deep into past experiences, into past trauma, and I really started to uncover a lot of aspects that I didn't even know were there. And this led me to the coaches I'm working with right now, who've supported me in an incredible way. And also, this is why I'm here creating those videos. I remember it was a couple months ago where I started creating YouTube videos. Sorry, I'm just a little bit emotional here. So, I started with social media a couple months ago, really sharing myself. But in the beginning, I was like really holding back and I told my coach, I was like, when I start talking, I get so emotional because of the recent breakup. And he encouraged me. He said, use it. Use your pain. Use the sadness. Share it with people. Because that's what people also relate to. Someone who can share openly and vulnerably. And that's what I've been doing here. And at the same time, I have this fear of like, I'm creating something, and I'm like, I'm impatient as well, because I'm like, so many times in my life, in relationships, I've poured every little atom of myself into that relationship, and I got hurt. So I'm like, when is it my time? With different passions. I've been a drummer for over 10 years. I played European handball. As an actor as well, I invested years. For each one of them, I invested a decade to develop myself, to train, to practice. And it was never enough. But the thing is, what I realized, or what I had to realize, is that not being enough for someone else isn't what matters. It's really not what matters. You cannot change someone's opinion of you. You cannot influence what people think of you. You cannot prevent them from rejecting you. They're going to have their opinion of you no matter what. Believe me, I've tried to make people change their opinion of me. In my youth, when I was bullied for being gay, I haven't even outed myself yet, because I thought it was just a phase. I didn't even know what it meant. Like, I was so confused. But people, and there were like a group of friends that I thought were friends. We were hanging out every day, doing a lot of things together. From one day to the next, they stopped talking to me. I didn't know why. And one day, one of them was kind enough to reply to one of my messages, because I was just confused why nobody would reply anymore. And one of them replied and said, "We don't want to hang out with a faggot." And I tried to convince them, "Oh, I'm not, I'm straight." I'm like, "Oh, but we had a great time," all those things. Like, I tried to convince them of my worth. I tried to convince them that I'm an amazing human being, that I'm a great friend. Didn't matter to them. When I saw them on the street, even like a couple of years later, they would look at me and laugh at me, point their fingers at me. Only one person apologized to me. All of the others, there was like 7 or 8 people in that group, to this day, they would still point their fingers. The thing is, having had that experience, especially also during a time of figuring out who I am, like as a teenager, you don't know who you are. I had to figure that out. But I connected my self-worth to what they thought of me. And that continued in romantic relationships. I tried to prove myself, showing up for them. Even when they ended the relationship, I showed up. I showed love. I showed like, hey, you can always reach out. Like, I'm always here for you. All those things. Not appreciating my own pain. Not being aware that me being there for them hurts me, because I cannot be who I want to be. Because I cannot be with them the way that my heart is yearning for. And I've always tried to prove my worth. And guess what? They still walked out. They still stayed out of my life. And through that whole process and through all those experiences in my life, I came to a point where I really realized that the only opinion that really matters is your own. What do you think of yourself? What do you think of yourself when you look in the mirror? What do you think about yourself when you see someone that you want to approach that you might find attractive or interesting? What do you think about yourself when you apply for a job? Or when you think about trying out a new hobby? That is the opinion that matters. Your opinion about yourself. We give so much power to other people for them to approve of something they have no right to approve of or not approve of. You are the only one who has the right to declare your worth. If someone doesn't see it, well, that's sad for them, because you are an incredible human being. And if someone doesn't see that, they're missing out on so much. Of course, there are people out there who are despicable human beings, but those people are probably not watching my videos. So if you are watching my video, then I am absolutely convinced that you are an amazingly beautiful human being, a beautiful soul. And you don't need anyone to tell you how much you are worth. Because the only person who can tell you how much you are worth is you. Don't dim your light for anyone. Don't dim your light for the approval of others. Start approving yourself. Start acknowledging yourself. Look at the things that you've been through in your life. If I look at all those things that happened to me, I mean, it started with age 11, when I was in love for the first time. After 2 weeks, it ended. I asked for another chance after a couple months, and I was crying, and I went through a very sad time. And the response was, you should be effed back and be aborted. I was 11 years old, and someone told me that when I asked for another chance. They could have just said, hey, listen, not gonna work, I'm sorry. Even the sorry, they didn't have to say that, but just say no, or not respond or whatever. But the way they responded was so painful. But the thing is, through all those experiences, the bullying, the rejections, the emotional abuse when I was with a narcissist, the rejections in my careers, the failures, the heartbreaks, they created so much resilience. And with resilience, I don't mean that I'm so strong that I'm not crying or that I'm just strong all the time, No. With resilience, what I mean with that is that I can feel the emotion, no matter if it's positive or negative. I do have a tendency of being able to feel the negative more than the positive, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. Like I said, I'm very real, very raw here. I'm showing up. I'm supporting people. I utilize all those experiences that I've made to show kindness and love with the hope to make this world a better place. Because there's already so much hatred, so much destruction. We don't even have to look for that. So I want to share hope, positivity. Be a little bit of a light for someone who finds themselves in complete darkness. I can only do that because of the resilience, because of the vulnerability. And that, in my book of life, is true strength. When you show up, not despite your experiences, not despite your heartbreaks or the experiences where you went through hell and back, but because of it. Because you went through that and you say, I want to make a better life for me and other people. I want to go out there and share the love I've never received. I want to lift up people the way they've not been lifted up by anyone before. But not because of the hope of winning their approval, but because you're approving of yourself and because of a way of living, that this is your way of going through life, not despite of everything that happened, but because of it. Using it to share love and kindness and hope. So again, don't dim your light, because the light that you have can save someone else's life, someone else's soul and heart, and especially it can save your life and your heart and your soul. If this message resonates with you, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with someone that you think would also benefit from it. For someone that you might have in your personal surroundings, in your environment, that is going through a difficult time and maybe you don't know how to support them. Maybe you can share that video with them. Also, it would mean the world to me if you leave a comment and share what is going on with you or how you are dealing in difficult situations. Share that light, share that hope with other people, because here we are a community and it's like each and every one of us can contribute to passing on the light of hope. All right, as always, lots of love from me to you, and a big squeezy hug. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next video.